Hello everybody, welcome to KawaKouple. How's everybody doing? Guess what? It's just me. Just me. Just Mr. K. Yeah. Mrs. K is banned from the channel. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. No, I'm just kidding. So boys and girls, today we are discussing motorcycles. Okay, so since I went back and rode my 300, I've gotten a lot of responses and it was pretty good. It was pretty interesting. Probably my favorite one has to be the fact that people are talking about like they're really happy about seeing me back on the 300. And honestly, the 300 was something that was fun. It was interesting to get back onto, and it sparked the question and kind of started going to comments. Well, what is the best bike? What is the what is the best starting bike? I think it's a question that comes up a lot more than it should. I think, but then again, I don't know. You know what? When we first started riding, that was the first question that we asked, like, what is the best starting bike? Lucky for us, we kind of had our eye already on the Ninja 300, so we kind of went for the right one right off the bat, if you will. So that was very interesting. And Spain just showed up in the chat, so that's cool. Actually, I kind of did a boo-boo, so I'm gonna quickly fix it here because yeah, I should. There we go. So yeah, for many people who are asking me, like what's this best bike? I mean, they wanna know what is the best bike to start on, and honestly, I can't tell people that. I can't just say it's this bike. But I figured if you guys come in and join into this conversation and kind of go through it, maybe we can come to something, some kind of information. And so in order to do that, I am gonna uh, release, well, the chat. So there you go. First person in is Spain. The best would be anything under 600cc. Spain, you're absolutely, in my opinion, you're absolutely right. I think it's anything under the 600cc. Now, this is not to say, and I'm curious about what you're gonna say, Spain, but is this mean that you should not start on a 600? I mean, is that your opinion, or is that just is that the way you're looking at it, or is like oh, what happened to my screen? Something happened to my screen. What happened to my screen? Oh no. No. There we go. We're gonna fix it. We fixed it. We fixed it. So basically, I think it depends on a lot of people, and a lot of people are asking me, can I start on a bigger bike? Like, for example, can I start on the 650? And I tell people you can start with anything you want. I just, it depends. Tilford Flowers. I love your name, man. Tilford Flowers. That's cool. You think it's a Ninja 400. Can you guys tell me why you think it's a Ninja 400? I'm very curious. So I have not ridden the Ninja 400. I obviously own a Ninja 300 and I own a 650. But I haven't rode a Ninja 400. And a lot of people are kind of giving me mixed signals. Those who have been on a Ninja 300 tell me that the 300 is a better bike. Those who've been on a 400 are telling me, well, just like Tilford has here, that it's that's the bike to start on. So Tilford, I would love to know why you think that the 400 is a great bike. I can tell you guys why I think the 300 is a good bike. It's a very forgiving bike. I think for new riders, it's a really good bike in just general. So it's kind of tough to describe it until you're on it, but my last video back on my 300 really explains a lot of those little details. So yeah, Spain also says bikes like the F07 would be fine according to Chase on Two Wheels. And you know what, I actually respect Chase on Two Wheels. I really do believe that he might be right on that. Again, this is the problem. I get this question a lot, and I'm not saying I'm a big YouTuber or anything, but what I am saying is that I get a ton of questions from people who want to ride, and I don't seem to be able to answer this question. It's really, really strange for me because I keep going back to the Ninja 300. Robert Fisher says Ninja 300. There we go again. By the way, welcome guys. Welcome to the stream. I hope you guys like this new setup. I wanted to make sure the comments are up for everybody to see, even those people who are coming in later on and watch after the fact. That's why I put it up like this. And those of you guys who don't know, if you guys look down there, I decided to put in the Instagram is a KawaKouple, and kawakouple@gmail.com is the best way to get in touch with us. Spain says, uh, my mom and I had a conversation before, so I'm ready to argue. And oh, you guys had this conversation before. You're ready to argue and debate. All right. So Robert Fish again. Robert, let me know why you think the 300 is a good starting bike. And Tilford, I would love to really honestly hear what your opinion on the 400 is and why you choose the 400. Um, so let me guys give you, until you guys write that in, let me guys give you guys a few things. So when I first started riding and my wife started riding, the Ninja 300 just made sense. It was the right size bike for my height, and it just worked in terms of the way it felt. Plus it does have a nice sporty look, so you don't really, I mean, look, as soon as you turn the bike on, everybody knows what it is, and most people who know about bikes know what it is. It's not like you don't just go, yeah, it's, it's a super bike. No, it's not. I mean, it's still a Ninja 300, but it looks great, and I love the way it looks. And the fact is, going out there and riding this bike, it's just a ton of fun. It really is. And that's what sparked this conversation, is the fact that I actually went out and started riding the bike just that one day, and I had so much fun. I completely forgot about the fact that I could go through all of these gears. I went through all six of my gears in no time, and I can't really do that on a 650 because, well, it doesn't need that. I went through all six of my gears. The clutch, the brake, everything, the way it felt, and it felt so light. It was incredible, just so nimble. And that's what I fell in love with the bike in the first place. That's what made it so interesting for me. So I personally think the Ninja 300 is a great bike. However, there are a lot of people that tell me, okay, you can start with, you can always start with a 650. You can always go with even a ZX6 or let's say a CBR 600. I'm not saying you can't start on those. I don't think it's a matter of question of you can't. I think it's a question of should you, right? Robert Fisher says, I like the forgiveness of the slipper clutch. Oh yes, that's too. And I can flat foot it. I get like 200 miles on a tank of gas. Okay, so that's the other thing too. A smaller bike, obviously, your fuel goes further. And I keep forgetting to talk about the slipper clutch. The slipper clutch is actually a huge thing, and I know for me it was, at least when I first started riding. And I know Mrs. K loves, and I mean loves, the slipper clutch. Um, it A lot of people I talk to, they all love the slipper clutch. So honestly, Robert, you're absolutely dead on. I mean, the way you wrote that is just like dead on. It's the slipper clutch. Being able to flat foot it is a big thing. I mean, look, I'm 5'6". I got short legs, I would say. So for me, being able to flat foot the bike was perfect. That made a huge difference for the way I felt on the bike, and the way the way I perceived the bike, and the way I perceive myself, and my comfort level, and all of those. It really comes in play. On the other hand, you look at like pretty much every manufacturer has, although they're all kind of similar, they're all these bikes are a little bit different, right? So I think for people who ask me this question, which is probably the most common question I get, I think my answer should change a little bit. I shouldn't necessarily go straight to the Ninja 300, but I should say, okay, go try out the bikes, try out different bikes, see what works best for you and what doesn't. Where is everybody today? I don't think many of you guys showed up today, because I did this stream without, like, very short notice. Um, Choosing a starter bike would be based on what kind of riding you plan on doing, like cruising, traveling, racing, stunts, or just looking good. Spain, you're actually very smart in saying that. it is true. You know, if you know what you want, it does change the dynamics of what you're gonna pick up, what you're gonna start writing with. I think that's I pretty much say that's one of the more important parts of all this is the fact of if you're smart enough in advance to say, okay, you know, I want to do this specifically, then you can actually make your life a lot easier by kind of choosing the bike in accordance to what you're looking for. I didn't really know. I mean, I know Mrs. K and I, when we first started riding, we really just wanted to ride for the sake of riding. It wasn't to go, you know, to work. It wasn't to go. It wasn't. There was no actual purpose aside from we just wanted to ride and have fun and enjoy life. And I think that changes my mentality too because when I talk to people, I forget that sometimes people might actually have a specific reason for that. Example being, you know, let's say they want to go to work and they just want to save money. Well, okay, just for that purpose alone, obviously you're not going to get. Well, that changes the dynamics of what you may or may not get. Spain says, I may only be 15, 16 next week, but I definitely know what I'm talking about when it comes to bikes and starter bikes. I I believe you. Hey, Paulina, Daddy. Paulina. So, I'm not your daddy. I don't think I am. Unless there's something I don't know. Maybe there's something I don't know. But yeah, so it is interesting. It is interesting for people to I never actually realized until I didn't start doing, you know, YouTube, how many of the big variation of bikes and how tough it is when I used to ask people, you know, what kind of bike should I get? Is this a good bike? And I used to get mad at people because they didn't answer my questions, and I think it's because it's kind of what Spain said. Like, what am I going to use the bike for? And I used to get that question quite a bit. You know, I think once you know, you can narrow it down. What is the best starter bike? I still think is Ninja 300. The Ninja 400 I have not had a chance to ride, and I really wish I would know. Um, Apparently, Dilfer Flowers did not want to answer my question about why the 400 is, in his opinion, a great bike. And Robert says, most of my riding is on 2-lane roads. I really don't do a lot of highway riding. I love riding the backcountry roads near where I live. And actually, that's the other part too. Like, because we do that kind of stuff. I love going exploring in, you know, here and there. And I found that, especially for me and for Mrs. K, I think the exploration aspect, because the bike is so nimble, it's so easy to just kind of do whatever you want to do. And again, I would say, rather than saying which bike is best, I would say go for the most nimble bike. Go for the one that is, you know, suits your style, suits your need. For me, I wanted to just kind of go on little adventures. And in order to go on little adventures, I wanted a bike that is lightweight, makes sense, forgiving, and relaxing. So, yeah, it definitely makes a huge difference, I think, in that aspect. Um, five. Oh, Paulina and Spain are having a nice little conversation there. Cool. So yeah, the other thing too is I am I think if you guys want, in fact, you know what, Mrs. K is gonna come on and probably in the next little while, like I would say in the next few days, she's gonna do a live stream for you guys just so you guys can kind of um, get a sense of from her perspective. Now, the reason I'm doing that is because I think there's a huge difference between myself and her. Robert says he's the same height as I am. Yeah, 5'6". Cool. And because Mrs. K, this was her first vehicle, and in like this is her first license, getting on a motorcycle right off the bat, I think she'll be able to explain more to you why this bike makes sense. And on top of it all, let's not forget she's not updating her bike, as in maybe not yet anyway, maybe not, I'm not sure, but not as of yet. And she's holding on to that 300. She likes the 300. She loves the 300 actually. And I think she'll be able to give you guys more of an information on why that is than me, because me personally, I already went to the 650. I already went down that upgrade aspect of things. The other thing is, Spain says my dad rides a huge Harley because he travels a lot, like to the beach. My mom has a Hayabusa. Wow, that she rides at events. Darn, man. Kudos to your mom, Hayabusa. I know a guy who rides dirt bikes just to do stunts. Again, Spain, you're absolutely right. It just shows you that everybody's gonna do their own thing, and I think that's one of the big draws to being, to motorcycles. There are so many different types of motorcycles. Yes, deep down, motorcycles are more or less the same things. Let's be honest. With the exception with a few little changes here and there. I mean, it's almost all the same things. The only, I guess, the big revolutionary motorcycle recently has been, the electric motorcycles. And actually, that's a good question too. Isn't an electric motorcycle a good way to start on motorcycle? I honestly don't think so, if you really think about it, because you don't get all the benefits of the learning the clutch, learning the shifting, and all that stuff. So I think if you start learning on an electric motorcycle, you will not be able to explore other motorcycles that are not electric. So I think by learning on a non-electric motorcycle first, and then jumping over to electric motorcycle, I think, which will be much easier. You'll still be able to really open up later on. If you want to try your friend's bike or anything like that, you'll actually be able to ride it, because I highly doubt somebody who goes from a electric to a non-electric motorcycle, they'll be able to ride it. They wouldn't know the dynamics of the shifting, all those fun things. So yeah. Looks like we got, what, 6 of you guys here. Wow, not a lot of you guys showed up today. I know it's because not a lot of you guys expected this, but it's out of the blue. I told you guys before, I am gonna put random live streams up, so it is really important for you guys to push that notification bell, because that's how you know about this. If you don't have the notification bell pressed, then you're not going to know about the videos or the live streams when they're going up. So yeah, by all means, make sure you guys do that. Why is this not showing up? There we go. I had to move that up. Spain says electric bikes would be good to start with, because you don't have to worry about the shifting, but you can focus on the balancing, walking the bike, and counter steering. Again, I agree with you there. The problem with that is, it's what I said earlier. It initially to teach you how to ride a bike. I think electric bikes are great, but you're kind of limiting yourself right off the bat. I always say start with the hardest and go towards the easiest, because when you go and start with the easiest, you're kind of making it harder for the future. So I would rather start with the hardest part, which in this case would be a bike where you have to worry about shifting, and you have to worry about, your clutch and all those little goodies. I think it will benefit you long term. But again, would it be easier as long as you're going to ride specifically, I guess, electric bikes? I think it would be much easier. But I think if you're going to be riding, all styles of bikes, I think starting out on an electric bike would be, in my opinion, a mistake. Now, if anybody disagrees with that, by all means, let me know why. But, as Spain says, electric bikes would be a good start with, because you don't have to worry about the shifting. But again, the shifting is part of riding a motorcycle, and it's a huge part. So by learning strictly on a bike where you don't have to shift, you're really not making that much of a difference than, let's say, being on a bicycle. Because frankly, once you get on an electric bike, I think you're going to be way too comfortable. The only difference between a bicycle and then let's say, electric bike, I guess, would be this has a motor and the bicycle doesn't. So it is something for me to think about, though. Actually, I might make another stream Oh yeah, we might actually do that. We might actually make another stream talking strictly about would you start with this or that. That's actually a good one. It's a good point. Robert says it's funner riding a slow bike fast than a fast bike slow, and absolutely, it really is. Thank you, Robert. It really is because one thing I found is that again with my 650, and I'm not saying my Ninja 650 is comparable to a lot of the great powerful bikes, but it is a huge difference between the 650 and the 300 in terms of the power and the speed. And one of the big things I noticed is going back and riding my 300. It's a slow bike, but it's so much fun riding it. Again, hitting all the gears and just going through, and man, it's a blast. Now the 650, I have to admit that going at a slow pace or a slower pace, I'm not necessarily a huge fan of that. So yeah, I'd have to say I agree with that. It's a tough decision if I guess if you're gonna go down that road. Anyone else, please let me know what other bikes. I mean, we talked about the 300, we talked about the 400, the FCO7. Uh, which other bikes would you guys say is a good bike? And these are all they're all more or less in the same category. I don't know how many of you guys have ridden, let's say, any type of cruiser. Now, I have not ridden a cruiser, and I cannot talk about cruisers. I really, really should do that. If I'm gonna have this channel, I probably should do that. So, if you're local and you have a cruiser, let me know. I might, if you trust me, I might try it out. But I don't know much about cruisers, and I don't think I'm at that point where I want to buy a cruiser. I'd rather just step it up and possibly go into more like an electric bike rather than go to a cruiser. But hey, you know what? Later on in life, I might actually want to go to a cruiser. So, but I am even in cruisers. I am curious. I mean, I really would love the anybody who rides a cruiser. What did you start on? What kind of cruiser did you start on? And again, it just kind of gives me a little bit of a insight, and those who are watching this video later on, is going to kind of give them a little bit of an insight what they should go with. So you can leave a comment below and let people go through it that way. But yeah, I never really thought about it. I mean, most people that talk to me don't talk are not people who are looking for a cruiser per se. They are people who are looking for the sports bikes or naked bikes or somewhere along the same lines of what I'm riding. So those are usually the people that ask me these questions. Okay, so I think this is interesting. I don't know how you guys like having just me. I know I don't actually believe have I done a stream without Mrs. K yet? I don't think so. So this is, I think, the first one. Mrs. K, I'm gonna, like I said, she'll do a live stream by herself for you guys, and you guys will be able to, just talk to her one-on-one and figure that out. That should be coming up in the next few days, I think, and she'll definitely go into, I'm sure she's gonna go into the 300 and all that details and why she loves it, and because boy oh boy, she really does like the 300. It's very interesting to me that she's really stuck with it. So again, I love my 650 and my 300, so I don't know what to say. With that said, boys and girls, thank you so much for watching. If you guys like this kind of live streams, this is a pop-up live stream, I guess you can call it. Let me know in the comments below. I'll do more. Just remember that if you don't have the notification bell pushed and activated, you're not going to get a notification. And if you don't expect me to do this without that bell, you're not going to be able to show up and be part of the crew there and commenting. And I would love to see more of you guys come into future streams like this where we can discuss a topic, something fun, something that I am curious about or a lot of you guys are curious about. So I'm going to try and make these something in accordance to the comments you guys leave me or the questions you guys leave me. With that said, I'm going to have to say thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And check us out on Instagram. If you don't have Instagram, then oh well. If you do, and you're not following us, follow us there. It's really a lot of fun. With all that said, I'm gonna say goodbye. You guys are awesome, as always. Till next time. See ya. Oh, Spain. Goodbye. I have a chemistry test tomorrow to study for. I love everyone here. We all love you. Have a wonderful day. Till next time. Bye bye.